All right, let's just get into it. There's so much shit going on this week that there won't be a hypothetical, but that's good. That's good. That means there's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Do you
Eight
get tired of
topics.
it? I was watching the unconscious bias thing, and I was like, oh man, another thing to get annoyed about.
Do I get tired of it? No. I enjoy being triggered. I'm like a person who's into cutting. It makes me feel something, you know? Life would be boring if we didn't have feel emotions, right? And annoyance and anger are emotions. Perhaps not the healthiest ones, but nevertheless.
Exactly. Yeah, I think seeking more positive emotions instead might be.
Sure, sure, maybe. We have lives outside of this podcast. Of course, we do seek positive emotions sometimes.
Speak
So
for
let's talk
yourself.
about, okay, let's talk about this first thing. Paul Pelosi. According to the mainstream media, this is purely political violence, some kind of assassination attempt, almost directly the responsibility of Trump. He's probably said something that caused this ultra MAGA guy to go attack Paul Pelosi. And if you just listen to the mainstream media or to people on Twitter with IQs below 90, this seems exactly like what happened. Just a crazy ultra MAGA guy exhorted on by extremist right wing well, actually specifically just Trump, you know, questioning the legitimacy of the 2020 election. That's what caused him to go and try to kill Nancy Pelosi. Because, of course, that would be his real target, not her husband. She wasn't home at the time, which throws a wrench in that. But I accepted it as well because I wasn't that invested in it. And I don't feel the
Wait,
need, huh?
I accepted I
This
accepted
narrative.
the narrative except for the MAGA part. I thought that was questionable. But I
Yeah,
bought
I question that too, but
yeah.
I thought it was politically motivated, just a crazy person who had, extremist ideas. Sure,
Yep,
that
yep.
can happen. And it doesn't bother me, or that is to say, I don't feel the need to defend or dismiss the idea that a person with crazy conspiracy right wing ideas could be motivated to do violent things. Of course that's possible. There's millions and millions of people. You're going to have a few people here and there that are crazy and that are violent. So I have no doubt that I mean there are extreme right wing people and they do bad things. I would like to say that the left is more typically responsible for these incidents, but it would be asinine for me to say that there are no right wing extremists. Of course there are. So I
Yep.
didn't look into it very closely, but I even maybe accepted that he was kind of a right winger. Although as soon as for instance Tim Pool said, oh well, he has like pride flags and BLM flags, and so he's a leftist. I'm like, well,
I I thought I had read, Berkeley nudist or something like that.
yeah, Berkeley nudist. Tim said he's registered with the Green Party. That's definitely not right wing. Although none of this, I would say yes, that does lend credence to the idea that no, this guy's not a right winger. However, could still be true that he recently started believing in some of these quote unquote right wing talking points, like questioning the legitimacy of the election or whatever, or
Mhm.
maybe he was a fan of Trump. It's possible. There are people who voted Green Party years ago who became Trump voters and are diehard Trumpers. Yeah, that happens. So
Hmm.
I didn't want to dismiss that just out of hand, but it did chip away at this mainstream narrative that, oh yeah, this is an ultra MAGA guy. Well, no, it doesn't seem like that. So I moved to, okay, he's just a crazy person with scattered beliefs. That seemed pretty reasonable. But also, this was a
Where do you
political hit.
where do you think they even got the Ultra MAGA thing from? Like, were they just totally making that up, or
I think they just made
what?
it up because if it's a person trying to kill Nancy Pelosi or invade their home, it's clearly got to be politically motivated. And if it's politically motivated, it's clearly got to be Trump. That's
Hmm.
exactly how that's how the gears turn in the minds of the mainstream media. I don't think it's any deeper than that. They just said
Yeah. So,
violence
so
against Nancy Pelosi equals Trump did it.
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
Because not only does it sort of, you can craft something that seems logical on the surface of it, it makes sense to them and it's easy for them to sell. And it's it serves them to sell the story. This is awfully good, not good news, but useful news right before the midterms, correct?
Yeah.
So why would they not spin the narrative this way? And I thought, okay, they're spinning it. Sure, they always spin it, but it's probably somewhat close to the truth. He is probably just a crazy person. He probably did have some kind of political motivation. I mean, you're invading Nancy Pelosi's house, attacking people. My
Yep.
guess would be some kind of political motivation as well. However, I watched a video from Anthony Brian Logan that blew my mind, that totally repainted it. And I now believe that this narrative is a total fabrication by the mainstream media. That what actually happened is this guy was Paul Pelosi's gay lover. They were having some sort of dispute. Okay. The police were called, and at some point there was a scuffle and violence, and a hammer was used. Let's go through the points one by one. Number one, they keep showing the door with glass, and everybody said this is where he clearly broke into the house. Like, the glass is on the outside of the door. Why is glass on the outside of the door when you break in?
That part, man, I'd almost have to try it myself just to see,
Even if
because
it's safety,
I
even
don't
if it's
know.
safety glass, it just no. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
But
I don't know what would happen because there could be glass on both sides, right?
there could be glass on both sides, right?
You
So
just can't see
that's
it.
not conclusive, but it is very
Right.
suspicious, right?
Right.
Number two, 911 call Paul Pelosi made, where he said something about my friend. So he called the cops in on his friend, right? You can listen to Anthony Brian Logan, and he has the actual tape. It does not sound like some unknown intruder broke in, does it?
Right. And I think in that video, Anthony Brian Logan, he was saying that people had commented on that, saying that he was trying to speak in code or something, right? Like he was trying to not alert the other person.
But that still doesn't make sense to me, because if the guy came intending from the outset to commit violence, either against Nancy Pelosi or her husband or both, how the hell are you on the phone? Did he go ahead and let you get on the phone for whatever reason? Why is he not attacking you immediately? If I went to a house to conduct a political assassination, I'd be doing the assassinating immediately. I wouldn't say, hey, target of my assassination, do you need to make a phone call? And then you have
Right.
this opportunity to make a
What if,
coded phone call. No.
yeah, what if he was posing as maybe it was a newly met, acquaintance or something, and then this guy had ulterior motives of hurting him, basically. I think they said
He,
he made the phone call in the bathroom or something.
yes. So how were you able to go to the bathroom and make a phone call if a person came there with the intent of attacking you immediately? It doesn't make
Yeah,
sense why you're able to be on the phone. The only way you're able to get on the phone is if the person, it wasn't an antagonistic thing throughout. Like, there wasn't just like straight up violence and attacking right from the start. He was
I
there
agree. Yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah,
You let him in. You let him in. He didn't break in. You
yeah,
let
yeah,
him in. You
yeah.
know this person already. That totally destroys the narrative that's been painted. It's not some
Yes.
assassin that broke in. It's a clearly you know him somehow. And number three, the hammer attack didn't happen until the police got there. So there was even another amount of time for the police to have to get there. And then once they got there, the police saw the two men, who were there in their underwear, by the way, struggling with a hammer. And then the guy gets the hammer and hits Paul Pelosi in the head. First of all, why are you both in your underwear? All right. You let this guy in, and you guys are just both in your underwear. I don't understand. Was he like,
Oh, wait. I think we do have to be careful that Anthony Brian Logan I think he made a disclaimer that some of these is not confirmed.
okay,
I think he was saying that he heard it through a birdie or something.
yes, that's true. But if that's
Yeah.
true, it really torpedoes the mainstream
Yep.
narrative about this.
Yeah. If it is really true, I
But
totally
even
agree.
even
Yeah.
even the idea that they were struggling out when the police got there. Why did he wait all the way until Paul Pelosi went to the bathroom, made a phone call, got out, still took at least a couple minutes for the police to get there? Only at that time did he decide to pick up a hammer and attack his political target.
hmm
Why
You,
wait?
you you could imagine if it was some kind of relationship gone wrong, And
that's exactly what it was,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, and that's why, yeah, I think, yeah, it seems like all the evidence seems to fit that particular narrative. Like that's why he addressed him or referred to him as a friend.
Yeah. This sounds exactly like there's some kind of domestic dispute. Somebody calls the police, they come. It's only at that point that things spark off. Maybe because the police are here, and then that agitated the guy, right? Because he probably said, "You call the police on me," and that would get him even angrier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I don't know that probably on drugs at the time. I'm just gonna guess. Okay,
Right. So maybe, yeah, so maybe Paul was feeling uncomfortable with the situation and wanted to call the police without letting
right.
that the person know.
And keep in mind, this is at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you're just awake and hanging out with a guy at 2:30 in the morning and you feel uncomfortable. And we all know what this sounds like, right? This does not sound like some stranger broke into my house at 2:30 in the morning. I don't have a conversation with that stranger. Stranger doesn't let me into the bathroom to make a phone call convenient to the police. Stranger doesn't wait several minutes till the police actually get there to start hitting me with a hammer. That's not how that would play out. That none of this makes sense whatsoever. It's not I don't care that I don't care if he has his gay lover over and they have some domestic dispute. That none of that matters to me. What's remarkable to me though is how much ease the mainstream media spins their narrative and just lies to our face about it.
Mhm.
It's amazing the ease, right?
Did you
They just
check
construct a
any?
totally fake story and everybody's pushing it.
Yeah, I can't even remember which channel, I first saw this on, but did you check any, like, like New York Times or anything like that and see how they reported it?
Yeah, I've been looking at some stuff and they all give you the company line.
Okay.
Oh my God, this is a thing of political violence. And they don't talk about the details of it, the attack. They just talk about how is Trump responsible for this.
Hmm.
That's what all the news stories are talking about because that serves their purpose. The news, they're not there to report the news. They're there to report things that serve their purpose. I mean, sometimes they'll just report the news, like you have to, right? Like when a team wins the Super Bowl, you just have to report on who won the Super Bowl. Sure. But if they can, and it's self-serving, they will report things just just lies, whole cloth lies, because it serves them. And I guess I shouldn't have been shocked because I don't have any faith in the mainstream media, but I didn't feel like they could just construct a lie whole cloth like this and just push it so easily.
So do you think we're gonna? Do you think they're ever gonna? Assuming that the truth is sort of, it was a domestic dispute. Do you think they're ever gonna report that?
No, I think they're going to cover it up. You're not going to see the body cam for some reason or another. This is San Francisco. I'm sure the police have body cams, right?
I don't
Why
know,
would they
but
not? Why would they not? They
yeah.
have the money for it, and it's a liberal city. Of course, they have body cam. What's the body cam going to show? Something inconvenient, I assure you. I bet that anybody watching that body cam footage will come to this roughly the same conclusions we're coming to, and
Hmm.
that Anthony Brian Logan came to.
Hmm.
Just watch this video. It's really eye opening.
Maybe,
Just
yeah, maybe that's the little birdie he was referring to. It's just somebody
in the
somebody at the
police
police.
department.
Yeah.
Right. Of course that's what he means. I mean, and you have to figure that not everybody in the police department is on board with these leftist cover-ups, right?
Yeah. But then I don't know. This guy, does the assailant have any defense? I mean, what I'm
I don't
trying to
know.
say is like maybe in the process of his defense, the truth will come out.
Perhaps we can only hope, but for his sake, I would only
Like he,
suggest that
he's the
he
only one. Well, the right is also incentivized to, are they not, to sort of have the truth come out?
yeah, yeah. Of course. That would totally devastate this narrative and it would also raise a lot of questions about, well, is the media in bed with the Democrats? We know the answer is yes, but this kind of thing goes a long way to showing that yes, that's the case. The only thing I would suggest to this assailant, he should make some kind of public statement immediately that he's not suicidal because, yeah, for his own safety.
Oh. And also, if Elon hadn't bought Twitter, you can just imagine people tweeting,
Hmm.
counter narratives to this
Yeah.
probably would be getting banned
He
for,
should
I don't
say, I'm
know.
not suicidal, and if I quote unquote suicide myself, they killed me. He really should just put that out there right now. It probably still wouldn't save his life. If the mainstream media can twist a domestic dispute into Trump literally almost with his own hand hit Paul Pelosi in the head with a hammer, they can say anything. They could probably just say he was just joking. He really was suicidal. I don't know. I don't know what they'd say. They would probably turn that message into a suicide note. They'd probably say, no, it was actually a suicide note you guys were reading, even though he said he's not suicidal. That was his way of telling you he's gonna kill himself, right? What's stopping them from just lying? I don't even know. It shocked me because I thought that they only had the power to sort of bend the truth and spin it,
Hmm.
but it seems like they can make up fiction and push it as news.
Yeah.
That's straight
Uh,
up 1984 stuff.
Yeah. Pretty scary.
Yeah. And you know what? They said, well, Trump didn't apologize, or not apologize, but offer his condolences or denounce political violence or whatever. Here's the thing: the guy was president of the United States. People at the top, they know what's going on at the top. How much you want to bet Trump knows that Paul Pelosi has gay lovers? This was just a domestic dispute, and he's not going to denounce political violence. It's not political violence, so why would he denounce it? He's not the type of person who would do that, right? Other Republicans in Congress did it, but they're playing the political game. They know that it looks better if they denounce political violence, even though I bet you anything they also know that this probably was just some sort of domestic dispute. You have anything else to add on that one?
Hmm. No, but I guess just it's another data point that makes me feel it's all futile.
I don't think it's futile. I mean, Anthony Brian Logan exists. His video's out there. We can spread the
Hmm.
word. So there's some truth telling out there. There are some checks to this machine that's attempting to pull the wool over our eyes. We just need to amplify those checks. We just need to amplify those voices.